Yo, what's going on everyone? EpicBlargman here. This video will be my top 5 favorite manga authors. So, let's get right into it. So, starting with number 5, Tetsuo Hara. So, Tetsuo Hara is most known for creating Hokuto no Ken, or otherwise known as Fist of the North Star. I loved Fist of the North Star. Loved the characters. Love the character designs, like the story and plot, like the setting, the atmosphere, the music. Everything was great about it. It's one of those 80s animes that you really have to watch in your lifetime. He's still drawing today. Tetsuo Hara is still drawing and writing today. I hope he kind of makes new series and everything. It was seriously a great anime. You know, he's one of my favorite authors because I love that fucking art style, man. Like, that badass 80s art style that I really, miss. I love seeing, the cell drawings of the characters, like Kenshiro and Rei, Rao, and a bunch of other characters. Also great voice actors, too, like I said in my Fist of the North Star review. Rao's voice actor, fucking legendary. That guy could scream his lungs out. Kenshiro's voice actor, godlike. And a lot of other great voice actors. So yeah, Tetsuo Hara is just awesome, man. There's no other thing I can really say. Number 4 is Keisuke Itagaki. So Itagaki has now become one of my favorite manga authors because he wrote Grappler Baki. And I've heard about Baki for a long time, but I didn't have a chance to watch it until now, until I started hearing about the 3rd season on Netflix. So I went back and actually watched both seasons, the 1st season and 2nd season from 2001, I think. One of the reasons that really got me invested into it and really hyped about it was the fact that I actually used to do karate. I used to be a blue belt in karate, and seeing an anime that focuses heavily on martial arts, I mean, Itagaki puts like a shitload of martial arts in there from like different countries, regions, different styles, even like fictional like fighting styles. What I like too is that the fighting was realistic for the most part, but there are parts that go pretty crazy and absurd and ridiculous, but in a good way, not in a bad way. Like, I like the fact that the author combined like real life stuff, but also had a bunch of like crazy, like absurd shonen stuff. That's why I like Baki so much, and the character development's great in Baki. I like the art style. It's something really different, actually, to be honest. Especially in his newer volumes. Like, his art style is really almost like creepy, like body horror. Like, the way he draws muscles and the way he draws like the noses, the eyes, and the faces. Almost like bony, like muscle tissue, flesh stuff going on. It's really, really bizarre. Yeah, it's just, with Baki, it's crazy because every fight is so fucking good because you could feel like the pain if someone's breaking their bones or skin being ripped off, or someone feeling like just insane amounts of pain. Like, you can feel it unlike other anime, at least in my opinion. Definitely check out Baki. Baki is awesome, especially the 3rd season. Baki just seems to get crazier like every volume and every season. Badass characters, badass character designs, over the topness, but with realism. Good story, like the music, animation's pretty good, and yeah, definitely check it out. Now, number 3, Hirohiko Araki. Hirohiko Araki is definitely legendary, that's for sure. Before I actually started watching Jojo, I read and I watched Bao, his older work. I thought Bao was good, but it wasn't like, super amazing, but it did have like a lot of like influence of like, 80s stuff and 80s tropes. Bao was good, definitely, but JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure so much, man. I mean, basically where I'm at with JoJo right now is I'm actually reading part 8. If you had to ask me like, oh, what's your favorite part, Blargman? Well, I'd have to say part 7, but I don't want to say why because it'd just be massive spoilers. I don't want to spoil it with you guys. I loved part 1, I loved part 2, loved part 3 heavily. Part 4 was great. Part 6 I really liked, actually. Part 7 was absolutely amazing, just in terms of everything, but like I said, I can't go over it because it'd be spoilers, but everything Part 7 was just amazing in my opinion. I literally would give it a 10 out of 10. Part 8 is really, really good, but I can't make it like an actual decision right now because it's not even done, so have to wait until he finishes it. But you're probably wondering, well, why didn't you mention Part 5? Well, I like parts of Part 5, but it's my least favorite part. Now, I will say this, even though Part 5 is my least favorite part, I didn't hate it. There's actually a lot of awesome, good moments that I really liked in Part 5. I don't know, it feels like my least favorite part because it feels like a departure from, like, the Joestars. And it felt almost like a side story rather than like a canon story. Even though it is canon, it felt more like a side story. But the anime, though, David Productions is doing an incredible job with the anime. The anime is fucking incredible. Like, the artwork, the animation, the sound effects, especially the sound effects, man. The sound effects are something else. So I will have to hand it to the anime of Part 5. It's doing an incredible job. And I'm sure, you know, the Japanese fan base is very, very happy because Part 5 is their favorite part. Another thing I loved about Jojo was Hamon. Me and my friend loved the Hamon concept because Hamon actually reminded us a lot of stuff from Hunter x Hunter, specifically Nen. But I also love the stands. The stands are just awesome. Like, the stands in Jojo are just go from weak to crazy to like absurdly overpowered. The stand designs are cool. I like the powers and the way the stands actually work and how he wrote of how they actually worked. Another thing I wanted to talk about with Hirohiko Araki is his art style. Now, when he started off in the 80s making the first part of JoJo, it seemed like he was heavily inspired by Tetsuo Hara and a bunch of other 80s manga. So his art style has just completely developed over like 3 or 4 decades. Araki's art style nowadays is actually pretty interesting. His art style can be really realistic at times. Like, for example, the facial designs in JoJo characters in Part 7 and Part 8. His background designs have gotten, like, really, really good. I mean, when I read Part 7 of JoJo, I was amazed at his art style in drawing backgrounds. Like, he would draw, like, landscapes and really detailed vehicles and houses and mountains and clouds and everything. I was like, wow, like, his art style is just developed so much and so great. But his character designs are so memorable and so unique because he has a great fashion sense and he has a great, like, you know, character design sense and making someone look memorable and like, oh, you can look at this character and be like, oh, I know that's Jotaro Kujo, and I know that's Joseph Joestar, and I know that's Jonathan Joestar just by looking at him. Number 2, Nobuyuki Fukumoto. Nobuyuki Fukumoto is most famous for writing Kaiji and Akagi. I was never into gambling or anything like that. I didn't even know how to play cards, I'm gonna be honest with you, until like a few years ago. Like I said in my Kaiji review, you know, I said it was an incredibly underrated anime. It's an incredibly underrated series, even though it is, I know, still popular, especially in Japan, but outside of Japan, it doesn't feel popular at all. You know, I like the fact that the gambles were all like life and death gambles. You know, I like that you can relate to the main character, Kaiji, and I like how intelligent Kaiji is despite the way he looks and the way he talks and acts. Characters in Kaiji felt grounded in reality, and I love the psychological mind games. I love psychological mind games. Nobuyuki Fukumoto goes into like incredible levels of detail. Like extreme levels of detail when he's writing. Like there will be a whole chapter where Kaiji is literally just planning out what he's going to do for his next move. And I love that stuff. I love stuff that goes into psychological, extreme detail. You know, Kaiji was really tense. It was really dramatic and tense, but the writing is just fucking incredible, man. Like, extreme detail, psychological mind games, you know, tense, dramatic, something I haven't seen for a long time. You know, I've been wanting to see an anime that has that stuff. What I liked about Kaiji 2 was that it was so refreshing to see an anime that was, 1, grounded in reality, and number 2, it was refreshing to see an anime that had a different art style. You know, a completely original, cool art style. Like, yeah, I understand for newcomers it might be hard to get into it, but for me, I was really tired of seeing the current anime art style that I've been seeing, like in the last 10 years. Like that modern anime art style with the same eyes, the same mouth, same nose, same hair. I was tired of that stuff. So it was refreshing to see almost like a cartoony looking art style, you know, with kaiji, with like, you know, the huge triangular noses, the triangular eyebrows, the triangular, you know, head shapes, and simple like designs and thick lines on the nose and mouths and pretty much everything else. I love the fact that, you know, with kaiji, the music was absolutely awesome. Like, I listened to it daily. I mean, Hideki Tanouchi, the guy who did the music for Death Note, he did the music for kaiji and Akagi too. Incredible composer, but it's just a real shame what happened to him, and I won't go into it, but it's just kind of like a real shame, and I hope someday he comes back and composes for kaiji, if there ever is a season 3. With kaiji, I actually have been reading the manga. After I finished the second season, I read part 3, and I just finished part 4 recently, actually. And now I'm on part 5, and everyone says that part 5 is like incredibly good. And then I heard that part 6 was just written like maybe like a year ago or a few months ago, and part 6 is still ongoing. So it's kind of has like that Jojo feel where it keeps going and going and going. You don't know when it's actually going to stop. So yeah, I'm a big kaiji fan. I'm pretty obsessed with kaiji. Number 1, Yoshihiro Togashi. Oh my god, man. Yoshihiro Togashi, he's one of my idols. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. His writing is incredible. His characters, memorable. His world building, especially with Hunter x Hunter, incredible. Especially the dark content and stuff. Like, I was super hyped for that ever since it was revealed. Yoshihiro Togashi also made Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho used to be my number 1 favorite anime, and it was for years and years and years. Everything about that anime was just incredible to me. I honestly feel that Hunter x Hunter is his magnum opus. It really shows in the writing, the characters, the story, the world building. Hunter x Hunter 1999. That's where I first started, actually. I watched the 99 version, and I fucking absolutely loved it. But the 2011 version also does an incredible job too, especially the Chimera Ant arc, which the Chimera Ant arc is still one of my favorite shonen arcs. There's a lot of stuff to say about Yoshihiro Togashi too. I mean, the guy is interesting. I mean, first of all, he's married to the creator of Sailor Moon, so I find that hilarious. I'm gonna be one of those people that says this, but literally, when I read something from Yoshihiro Togashi, half the time I don't feel like it's shonen. He kind of goes borderline seinen in some of his works, especially Yu Yu Hakusho. I mean, if anyone remembers the Mukuro backstory from Yu Yu Hakusho, the anime was completely different from the manga, and the manga counterpart was really fucked up and really disturbing, and I did not expect to read that. I would compare Chapter Black and Yu Yu Hakusho to the Chimera Ant arc. They're very similar in a lot of ways. Another thing I like about Togashi too is the fact that this guy can go from like a cartoony art style to a 90s anime art style to super realistic art style with like actual like defined eyes, eyebrows, hair, nose, mouth. Whenever Yoshihiro Togashi writes a chapter of Hunter, it gets me hyped, man. Every time I read a chapter. Because for him, it's quality over quantity. I'd rather him take a hiatus for his health, you know, and get better and come back and write like 10 quality chapters. That's how I feel about it, you know? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That was my top 5 favorite manga authors, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you next time.